Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're Lost on Lost. Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. Hey, I'm JP Russell, and I'm here with the hoster, but don't call him a toaster, Adam Busher.
That's me, baby. You can call me a toaster if you like.
Oh, I feel like I'm running out of nicknames. So, Adam, a long time ago, and I was trying to figure out which episode it was, and I didn't bother looking it up.
Sure.
But
we have a list of all of our previous episodes, guests, and the topics we've covered, but, you know, that's fine.
No. It's a specific thing that I said in an episode. Like, okay. It's one throwaway line. But I said something about how in a survival situation, your 3 main priorities are water, shelter, food. And I believe that I said in that order, right?
Yes.
So I recently got a subscription to Masterclass, and I watched Jessie Krebs' class on wilderness survival.
Okay.
And she talks about her method and sort of, you know, how she taught things in the Air Force, like Sears School and things like that. And she talks about how in a survival situation, your 3 top priorities should be signal, shelter, water in that order.
Okay.
However, nowhere in that 16-part class does she mention Dy-No-Mite. So by default, Leslie Arntz is more qualified than her. Today, we are talking about Exodus Part 1, the 23rd episode of Season 1, and the 23rd episode of Lost overall. Our centric characters are various. Exodus Part 1 takes place on the 44th day after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. Adam.
Yeah.
Do you have a recap?
I do.
Let's fucking hear it.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. On the island, it's the last day of freshman year, and the survivors are scrambling to finish their final projects on time. Michael Dawson, James Sawyer Ford, and Jin-Soo Kwon put the finishing touches on their raft, the USS Death Trap, while Dr. Jack Shepard leads an A-team mission to the Dark Territory for old and unstable high explosives. Having delivered an ominous warning ray baby snatching, Danielle Rousseau joins Jack along with Kate Austin, John Locke, Hugo Hurley Reyes, and fan favorite Dr. Leslie Arst. And in the before times, we see some white folks being racist, a cop and a doctor getting hammered at noon, and what would appear to any bystander as a child in distress. You've got 3 choices: run, hide, or headbutt the Minister of Agriculture. An Exodus is a mass departure of people, but only 4 actually leave. It's Exodus Part 1 here on Lost on Lost.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
JP.
Yeah.
We've got a guest.
What?
Yep. I would like to give a big Lost on Lost welcome to one Jake Jacobson. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Why?
First time listener, first time caller. So like, I've really kind of skipped a lot of the traditional radio path to getting on a show.
Sure.
It's probably not good podcast etiquette, but the thing is, I have not listened to an episode of Lost on Lost.
That's okay.
I am waiting until the series is over. And then I'll be hosting my own podcast,
Yes.
Lost on Lost.
Yes.
Where I'll be listening to the episodes of Lost on Lost with a guest every week in show chronological order.
Nice.
Which is kind of my twist on the whole formula, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like blow up the industry with this idea. So
like it.
You got to understand.
Yeah, it subverts sort of the expectation of the lack of knowledge of the original host JP and I, and takes it and puts a sort of more intelligent and thought out logical framework to watching a serialized television show.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Well, that's fair. You know.
Wait, let me just do some Googling here. Yep, Adam. Oh, Jake, that will cause cancer in the state of California. You better,
that's rough.
You better not
You know
do
what,
that.
though?
Yeah, sorry.
I got time to figure that out.
Jake, welcome to the show. So we like to sort of get bottom line up front here and ask our guests what their background is with the television program Lost. So, are you a fan of Lost? Did you watch Lost in its original run? Is this your first episode of Lost?
This is why I am so legitimately excited to be part of the show. This is the first time I've ever watched a single episode of the show Lost. I know a lot about Lost by cultural osmosis.
Right.
But like, this is the first time. Like, I had to borrow look, Hulu, if you're listening, this is for legal reasons. This is a lie. I had to borrow a Hulu login to like watch this episode of Lost.
Right.
I know the premise generally. Like, I know about the titular Lost plane, right?
Right.
And I understand that a lot of people got on this plane, and it's all connected somehow.
Yeah. You could say it's a connecting flight.
Boo.
That's true. Again, I've only watched one episode. Do they ever use that joke?
Yeah.
Do they do that one?
No, I don't think so.
Shame. You should hang on to that one then.
Do you guys want to talk about Lost?
Yeah.
I'm excited to jump into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Let's get into it.
So today we're talking about Exodus Part 1, which originally aired on May 18th, 2005. It was written by Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. It was directed by Jack Bender. Damon Lindelof produced Prometheus. Carlton Cuse produced The Strain. And Jack Bender is announced to direct a miniseries called The Institute, which does not have any listed cast on IMDb, so I'm assuming that it stars Gilbert Gottfried. We start on a window. Walt's looking out of it.
It's early. We don't know what time it is technically, I guess, until Walt has to consume a little Power Rangers.
Hell yeah. My notes literally say fucking Power Rangers came on. I was very excited.
Do you know which Power Rangers it was?
I don't know.
I was going to look it up, but I didn't.
I found it in Lostpedia. It's Power Rangers SPD.
Oh, that's the cop one. Wow.
Oh, they're cops?
Oh, buddy. Yeah. Like space. I think it's Space Police, literally.
Boy.
I think is that season of Power Rangers.
We find out it's 5:23 in the morning because the noise of the Power Rangers kicking some major ass wakes up Michael.
He gets real shitty real quick. Like, was it Ryan? Ryan used to let me listen to as long as I want. It's like, well, then Ryan's a shitty parent.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
Because they're still in, like, Michael's come to Sydney to pick Walt up. So they're still in the area of the world in which Walt is used to living. So this is his normal time to be awake. And this is when Power Rangers SPD airs at 5 o'clock in the morning. Brian, I bet, is one of those Power A type dudes who's up at 4:30 in the morning working out.
Rising and grinding, baby.
And that's why he doesn't care, because he's,
I get up, I run a 5K, I read a book, I drink fucking grass water, and I watch Power Rangers SPD.
Yeah. Brian Porter's just on his grind, ignoring Walt's needs. As a true Sigma.
The thing is, he prefers Walt to watch the Power Rangers Cops season. Like, it's got to be that one specifically.
Oh, man, fuck the police. There's a little altercation that they have where Walt's like, I'm gonna leave me, and Michael's kind of like drag him back in the room and be like, get your fucking ass back in here.
Right. And they make a huge commotion in the hallway, which draws out some of the other hotel guests, and like, so Michael's dragging Walt back to the hotel room. He's just like, it's okay, I'm his father.
Right.
It's like, that sounds like what a kidnapper would say to make people not pay attention to him kidnapping this child.
And then what I love about this flashback is, to me, someone who's never seen Lost before, this presents me with my very first classic Lost twist. Mm-hmm. Because then the kid wakes up on the island, and I thought for sure the kid wasn't going to be on the island. I was super surprised that the kid is one of the survivors, and I was like, I thought for sure it was going to be the grumpy dude. Like, yeah. And it's both, but like,
you're sure.
No, Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse like, fuck that kid.
I was very surprised though.
As they cut from the flashback to the beach where we see Michael and Walt in their tent together, that Walt's line, "You're not my father," echoes through the cut as Walt wakes up on the beach. Like, I kind of liked that.
I kind of liked it too. Yeah, that's very good. But yeah, Walt walks up to take a piss, and He's at the old pissing
And
tree.
it's so important, too.
Yeah. I have a note here. I think, is the Petrie a little close to camp?
Yeah, a little bit, but like
I mean, I know it's TV and whatever, but like, yeah, he started walking and he got to the tree and I was like, if it were me, I'd go further, but that's just me.
Yeah.
This establishing shot on the beach of Walt waking up and it's quiet. And the only thing that you really hear is the noise of the ocean, like the birds, the wind in the trees, like the crackling of dying campfires. Like I've been camping and that's like literally my favorite time of day.
It's
being
very
out
good.
camping is the early part of the morning. If you're the first one up, nobody else is awake. And that's just like, even if you're with other people, it's so still and serene. It's like, I love that part of the day.
Is that when you personally like to go and find a good morning pee spot? Like, is that like, do you feel like it is an improvement if you're up just awake before everyone else? Does the tranquility help, do you think?
It's because that not only do you have the surrounding nature sounds, but then your own urination sound becomes part of the sort of audio melange.
This is being one with nature.
Mm-hmm.
no,
100%.
This is bullshit because he's not up to enjoy nature or pissing. He's up because this is the time of day where he's watching Power Rangers SPD. It's 5 a.m. baby, rise and grind.
Anyway, the storytelling requires that we watch this kid pee.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Rousseau's watching some little kid pee. Arrest Rousseau. Call the police.
Throw her in jail. He's out there. He's taking a leak, and he hears some rustling, and then he sees Danielle in the tree line,
Just carrying a gun.
Yeah.
Just being creepy
Just
Rousseau.
being
Love
weird,
her to death.
Creepy Rousseau, this middle-aged woman,
Yeah, he handles himself really well in this situation.
which made me wonder, like, because we've met Rousseau on the podcast, how the dissemination of Rousseau and her sort of identity as an inhabitant of the island. I'm wondering if this is one of those things that didn't necessarily get told to everybody.
Well, because everybody starts waking up because Walt's like, Dad.
Yeah.
And Sawyer says something like, it must be the French woman.
Yeah.
But like, she hasn't said anything.
I wanted to say that. Like, I was like, my note literally says, I'm pretty sure someone makes a French chick joke. And I was like, how would that's such a weird, like, bit.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at all.
She doesn't shave her armpits. She must be French.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, how long have you been on this island? What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Not long enough, apparently. Like,
He doesn't necessarily recognize her, but based on stories he has heard from Saeed, that like he makes the deduction it must be the French woman. Because Saeed has 100% met her. He knows her first name.
yeah.
He's been to her house. Like, they spent a lovely time together with the music
Yeah, she
box.
tortured him.
She tortured him a little bit. Yeah. Saeed's the one who comes over and is like, this is Danielle. She's cool.
Yeah.
She's our neighbor. Like,
Yeah. He's like, hey, Rousseau. Hey, how's it going? She's like, the others are coming.
and she just fucking eyeballs Claire and Onion Head.
We'll get this out of the way pretty early in the episode here, but when Saeed is talking to Rousseau, Richard Brock strikes and it's out of focus.
We got a Brock shot.
We got a Brock shot, baby. So we cut to the cold open. We come back. Rousseau starts telling a creepy fucking story.
I think this is probably the first time that we get the Danielle's full story of how she got to the island. How she had a baby. So yeah, she just trauma dumps on these strangers here.
look, we're all on the same deserted island together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If trauma ain't bonding us, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's very true. So she explains to them that the others took her child, Alex, shortly after Alex was born. And she warns the survivors that their presence was announced by she saw a pillar of smoke in the distance. And then the others arrived shortly after. And then based on her experience with the others, the survivors only really have three options now. They can run, they can hide, or they can die.
Man.
And so that's a spooky story with a deadly tag right at the end. And I loved it.
Here's the problem that I have with that whole scene is like Rousseau's only had one baby and the smoke has only come up once. That's not enough time for the scientific method. Two,
small sample size.
It's probably the Catholic Church. It just means the Pope died. That's what black smoke is, right? When it comes out of the Vatican. So it's a Catholic Church is stealing the babies.
I don't want to dunk on your very good idea, but I think it's white smoke. I think we're talking about a
White
different
smoke's
color of smoke.
when the conclave is finished and they've selected the new pope. Until it burns white, they have not selected a pope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're proposing some kind of island negapope, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
There we go, title of the episode. Also, that's another thing to knock out early. Island negapope.
what part about this is difficult to understand, Jake?
No,
it's a very clear
I'm just
theory.
asking for clarity. This is not. Look, I get it. This is for the listeners. Okay, this is all clarity for the listeners.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you.
So Danielle sort of in passing mentions that she delivered her own baby, which I wrote is extremely badass.
Yeah, dude.
And she says it very casually. Also, like it's wild.
Rousseau is not to be fucked with.
Yeah, she's like liquid badass. She's like arguably one of the top tier survivors. I mean, she's been there longer than anybody else. She's been there like almost 20 years. Like,
she seems like a very cool character.
She's real cool. I love Danielle Rousseau.
Also, before we move past it, when she said "run, hide, or die," I got really excited because I have a throw pillow on my couch that says "run, hide, or die" in very fancy lettering.
What?
No, this is not true, but I would really like to have that. I would really like to have a nice like embroidery to hang like next to the door for when people come in.
You know what would be great is a pillow, like a live, laugh pillow, and then on the other side, run, hide, die.
Oh, you're saying like something you could hang on the office door to let people know whether or not they can come interrupt.
Yeah, like a throw pillow. You know, you have those embroidered pillows. Live, laugh, love, and you flip it over. Run, hide, die. Like the next part of it is, or the next scene is just sort of a continuation from there. Jack and John Locke are discussing what to do about it. Essentially, like now that Danielle has given them this like warning, what are they going to do about it? You know, Jack wants to hustle up and get the raft together and get that launched. John Locke wants to make preparations for the imminent arrival of the others. He's thinking defense. Jack, so like of the three options, Locke's taking the fourth one, fight, and Jack's taking the first one, run.
Yeah. And basically, it's like, hey, you know, like, let's get this raft in the water. Michael's like, you know, it's sort of it's a supply chain issue. Hopefully that joke is still funny in a few months when this episode airs. So Jack starts gathering up some folks. He's like, hey, like all hands on deck here. Let's get this fucking thing in the water.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What are the people he rounds up to help with the raft? What were their other duties? We've already established there's not a ton to do on the island. Like, why weren't they just already helping with the raft?
Right. The fact that it's been basically just Michael and
Jin. And Sawyer like, to a very limited extent. Yeah. Like, it's essentially two people. It's a two-person work crew with two supervisors, Walt and Sawyer. That leaves 36 people on the island. Yeah. Like, you know, all our A team are always doing bullshit. But like the B and C tier survivors, they can't build tents every day.
The A team's always keeping shit from them. Maybe they didn't even tell them they were building a raft. It's just around the cove, you know, so like they don't even know that it's happening.
Yeah. So not to go back to this again, because I know we don't do this in the show, but my initial note was someone's making fun of a high school science teacher as if that wouldn't be the one type of person I would trust the most if I were surviving on an island. Yeah. This opinion changes.
Sure.
But yeah, I wrote like this guy is actively recruiting the whole island to help finish this raft. And he does it really easily in a way that led me to believe the exact same question you guys are asking, which is like, why are they not, do they all feel like, do they not want to impose? Like, is there some kind of societal barrier where it's like, well, I don't want to sound rude.
Right. Like,
and like ask these people to come do this manual labor.
Like I know that you and you guys, like the raft is your thing. And I didn't want to like come over and like I mean, like I always see Jin and Michael working together on the raft, and it does, it's like they've got like a buddy thing, and you know, I didn't want to be a third wheel.
Right, yeah. So look, you two, you're really close.
I'm gonna go take down my tent and put it back up for the 38th day in a row.
Look, how much fruit do we have? You be the fruit guy? I can go be the fruit guy again. Yeah, that's really not a big deal.
I might be getting on a fucking soapbox here, but for whatever reason, I think about the Michael Bay film The Rock, right? So Rock
all the time, right?
Right. I mean, just looking at the poster on my wall here. So The Rock you spend so much time with Sean Connery, right, and Nicolas Cage, and you spend so much time with the control center. You spend so much time with the guys with the gas rockets, right? You forget that there's like hostages on the island. We spend so much time with our A team, with our main survivors, and with fucking everybody else. Half the time I'm like, oh yeah, there's like 40 other people that we just don't give a fuck about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
it's the Alcatraz tour group. That's right. I didn't even remember until just now.
that's what I'm saying. And they're technically the plot. Like they're who everyone's trying to save.
And we're skipping ahead a little bit, but Danielle literally says at some point, like, I'm one person, you have 40 people. And I was like, 40 people?
Yeah. Right.
I've heard about like 4 guys from Lost, tops.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
But we have a brief scene at the raft where they're working on launching it, and we see like it's sort of like an uplifting scene because we see a lot of hopeful looks. Like everybody's like, "Oh, fucking, this is gonna work! Here we go, baby!" We get a quick shot of Sun and Jin not looking hopeful. There's tension there, and so like if I had a note, I was just like, are they still estranged? Are they still having troubles? The raft, while everybody's working together, it gets misdirected. Like it falls off. They started like Michael and Sawyer get in an argument about who did it,
which it really sucks because up until then, Michael's doing a really good job, sort of directing everybody on what to do. He's like, okay, you do this, you did that. I was like, oh, Michael, way to fucking step up for once.
He's actually stepping up, and then it falls apart. And then he loses his composure immediately.
That part I understand. I've never been stranded on an island. I can only imagine.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a prerequisite.
That is one of the prerequisites. Adam, we
so
gotta
like
vet
quarantines
these guests
made getting abandoned on islands really tough. Plus the supply chain.
Yeah.
Supply chain.
Adam, you said you weren't really sure how long this scene lasts.
Yeah.
Excruciatingly long.
Yeah.
For a scene where I knew the entire time something was going to go wrong.
The music is too hopeful.
I wrote, "Here it goes, baby, nothing's going wrong" 4 times in the amount of time that they were successfully pushing this boat into the water.
God.
My God.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The real punctuation on this scene is that while they're arguing, Walt spots a column of black smoke in the distance, confirming at least a portion of Rousseau's warning.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Now who's the weird French chick? It's the survivors.
Yeah, wait. we were all the weird French chick the whole time. So yeah, like Jake said, Rousseau's like, what are you gonna do? I'm one person, you're 40 people.
Yeah.
Cut to the hatch. And Rousseau has no idea what the fuck this is. She's been on the island for 16 years. She's never seen anything like this.
Yeah. Their idea is like, we'll hide in here. And there's a bunch of like assumptions made about it. It's like, oh, well, there's one door here and there's no handle. That implies there's a second entrance, and 2 entrances implies space. And
it's very much the conversation that we had a few episodes ago with Saeed and
where he was
Jack
like,
and John.
Yeah, maybe we don't open it. Maybe we should. It's a continuation of that.
So as a first time Lost watcher, most of this episode, actually, I didn't really need a lot of the context for, even for being a part 1 of an episode. I mean, I think it helped that it was a part 1. If you had given me part 2, I think I wouldn't have felt this way, but it being a part 1, like a lot of the story wraps up really nicely, sort of. This is the most inscrutable part to me, is this several minutes where they discuss this hatch.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to have heard you guys talk about it, because I was like, I don't know what this means. I don't know why everybody's afraid of it. I trust what everybody has to say about this, I guess.
Well, and they you're very much right. Like, they do a good job of like, okay, this is the season 1. This is the beginning of the season 1 finale, and we have a lot of plot lines that are all going to start colliding very quickly. So here's some like little sprinkles of dialogue for folks that were, running to the bathroom in an episode like 8 weeks ago and missed a line of dialogue or something like that.
John Locke suggests, since there's no handle, we should just blow it open.
America!
And then before we jump to this flashback, I want to point out that this entire episode is about managing deadlines. So that seems to be the theme.
Lost on Lost brought to you by Monday.com. Monday.com, your project management software.
It's a good enough idea. They're like, fuck it, Dy-No-Mite, let's
sure.
do it. And And we cut to flashback.
Holy fuck! This flashback broke my
is
fucking
insane,
mind.
by the way.
What is this?
I had to stop watching this flashback. Like,
Jake, it's so much worse than you even know. It's so much fucking worse.
this for listeners, if you are a listener and you do not follow along by watching whatever episode of Lost they are on, let me explain to you that what I'm about to lose my mind about live on the air was maybe 2 entire minutes of dialogue. But these are the 2 most unhinged minutes of television I think I've ever seen. This woman approaches this man at an airport bar in a way I cannot imagine approaching any human in any place for any reason in real life. I cannot. Oh
Jake,
my God, I cannot believe it.
Hold on. Now, normally in the podcast, when we talk with our guests about things that we've already talked about on the podcast, you know, for folks that maybe haven't listened to the episode or hasn't aired yet, we cut all that. I don't want to cut this. Jake, do you know how she ended up in Australia?
I don't think I have any idea because I don't think I know which character
There's
that
no
is.
way that it even could have been included in the recap because I am pretty sure that this is Ana Lucia's first appearance on the show chronologically.
Oh, fuck. That's so much better. All right. She works at TSA.
Okay.
She's a disgraced cop. She gets a job with the TSA. She's just drinking at the airport bar. And Jack, the guy she's hitting on's dad, shows up and drunkenly hits on her and says, "Do you want to go to Australia?" And she just goes with him.
For the listener at home, Jake's jaw has just gone completely slag.
That can't be true.
That is absolutely true.
Look, I trust you guys with my life, especially when it comes to things about the show Lost, a show I've never seen before. That can't be true.
It is.
It's true. Tom and Sarah. Lost version of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Tom and Sarah, Ana Lucia Cortez, and Christian Shepherd. Oh my God!
So I'm missing the beautiful context of this scene.
Yeah,
But
Which
that's the
sets
thing.
up with a man sitting at the bar, and a woman approaches him and says, "Why did you yell?" And he says, "What are you talking about?" And she says, "At the gate guy." And he says, "I don't know." And he's trying to get past this conversation, which I would be trying to get past this conversation. I've already yelled at someone. I'm drinking at a bar.
yeah,
I'm catching a flight. I'm over this.
yeah.
She broaches the subject of this gentleman's dead dad.
And she wants to fuck him so bad.
I can't believe this scene exists.
He screamed at a customer service representative at an airport. She's like, "I want to fucking jump on that."
Oh my God. And he buys her a drink, which is an incredible way to handle a situation.
I would really like the strange woman to leave. Let me buy her a drink.
God.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Man.
The thing about the missing context is the viewer chronologically in 2005 doesn't have the context either because we don't find out anything about this woman until season 2.
Right. Because
That's incredible.
Yeah.
in the order of our podcast, we've seen all of Ana Lucia's backstory, and she's so troubled and so dark, and she's murdered a man, and she's been drugged halfway across the world for something she doesn't understand with a guy that's doing this weird thing. But now we see her, and she's like, "Hey, 5 o'clock shadow, wanna fuck?"
That's what that was my note. Is like, Ana Lucia trying to fuck?
Yes.
He asks her, "Why are you drinking tequila and tonic at 10 to noon?" It's an airport. Who gives a flying fuck?
Right.
Time doesn't matter in an airport. Back before I quit drinking and I would go on flights, I would order a scotch and ginger ale on the plane at 9 in the morning because then I could sleep through the flight. And I
doesn't
would wake
matter.
up and I'd be sober when I reached my destination.
Yeah, she says the one relatable thing, which is because I'm afraid of flying, which I get. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing
Airport
that makes
drinks are
sense
the
in
best
this scene.
drinks.
I'm drinking because I get nervous on airplanes.
I was gonna say she says one reasonable thing in the scene, and then it's over.
Oh my god. Cut back to the island. Jack's giving a little pep talk to our other 40 people. It's like, all right, we're gonna get this raft going. You guys work on that. We're gonna get some shit that we're gonna need to defend ourselves. Everybody else go to the caves to hide out. But yeah, Leslie is like, hey, I'm coming with you because I know your plan, and y'all don't know how to deal with Dy-No-Mite. But I do because I'm a 9th grade teacher.
Quick question. We established earlier that Danielle had her house rigged with explosives to ward off potential intruders. There's already somebody going on the mission that knows how to deal with dynamite, right?
Yeah.
All right. Just check.
Right.
Just checking. I was just checking.
Did not think about that. That's brilliant.
No, I didn't think about that either.
Yeah.
Well, especially because I thought maybe it was going to be some kind of angle for him to do some sinister stuff because I don't know these characters. But no, he just runs away.
I like that.
He didn't need to go.
Yeah,
he chooses not to go. In fact,
I like that a lot. Jin and Michael are fixing the raft also during this scene, and they're seems like they're making good progress.
They seem to have like a basic communications. Like Michael kinda understands enough of what Jin's trying to say. Like
even if Jin's English hasn't improved, it seems like Michael's understanding of a few Korean words here and there might have improved. Which is good. I mean, the two of them, they've been working together pretty consistently since whatever day they started building the raft, which was not day 2, which is the day it should have been.
It was day like 25 or something like that, I think. Yeah.
They managed to build 2 rafts in the span of about 14 days.
Something I really like about this part, that particular thing, is that the show does provide Korean subtitles later in the episode when we need to hear what they're saying for the lore. But it doesn't, and neither does Hulu. There are no subtitles for when he's speaking Korean right here, which just helps to reinforce the fact that these two, to me, again, like without the context of the show, it helps to reinforce to me that these two have really built a bond with each other.
Totally, yeah.
Because like I can't understand what he's saying because I don't speak Korean.
Right.
This guy can.
Yeah.
So they've at least been around each other and worked together long enough that like they've worked something out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, that's very good. It's very good.
Then I think we flash back, right? This just explains how Sawyer got on the plane. We also know we already know why Sawyer's in Australia. We saw his flashback to how he got to Australia a few weeks ago. But this is how he got on the plane. He headbutted the Minister of Agriculture, and he's being deported.
I wrote, I can't believe they banned him from the entire country of Australia for one headbutt, which is all you need to do sometimes, you know? Yeah. It seems like they really just wanted to have a Australian person say Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry.
Yeah.
Which, like,
this would be a perfect opportunity to ask our guest to do their best Australian accent.
Oh, no, it wouldn't. Don't worry about that. I give you an oi, mate, and that's about it.
So
we're going to move on.
That's plenty. Cut back to the jungle.
Yep. There is an area of the island near the beach that is like a bamboo forest, and this is specifically that. Yeah, Sawyer's getting some bamboo. He had overheard what they need for the raft. He wants to contribute, and so he's out getting some
so
bamboo.
He's out cutting. He's shirtless.
Oh yeah.
Looking real cut.
He's cutting bamboo sexily. Yes, I wrote this down.
Yeah.
This was important. Jack
Yes. Yep.
shows up. And now Sawyer's holding a pistol sexily.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting transition.
Yeah.
So, okay. Jack gives Sawyer a gun. Yep. He's like, hey, you're going on the raft, right? This is a just in case. Here's a gun. Sawyer then says, what? In case I gotta put the kid out of his misery. Jack should take the gun back.
It's like, actually, I think that gun's broken. Let me go back to the beach and get you a different one.
That's not even the weirdest kid-based anecdote Sawyer has in this scene.
No.
He says a weirder one that I wrote down.
Sawyer just joked about murdering a child.
Sure.
Now he gives maybe the best monologue we've seen in the show so far.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. We dunked on this on Sawyer in an earlier episode for having an opportunity to tell Jack this story that he tells just now and not taking it, because him and Jack really aren't, they're not there yet. But this is the thing where Sawyer realizes he might not see Jack again, and so he tells him. He unloads his story about meeting Jack's dad in the bar, and the whole Christian, even at the end, still loved his son, and he was ashamed of what he did, and he was proud of him, and all this, and it was...
And, like, Jack's just having, like, he just thought he was like, hey, I'm going to give this redneck this gun, and that's the end of it. And now he just gets, like, a message from the grave from his dead dad, and I was getting choked up. I was like, this is some good shit.
Yeah.
I make several notes in this where I theorize that this is actually the very last episode of the series of the show Lost, of the series Lost,
and they're still lost.
And this is a part where I write it again, because this is a very like, we're literally never going to see each other again moment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And also they like deliver on it in a weirdly good way, like a weirdly, for me, like, there are two parts of this episode that make me emotional, and I have no connection to these characters, and this is like one of them.
Yeah,
because at first I was like, I don't have a beat on this guy. Like, I couldn't tell if this was like a manipulative story or like a real story. Yeah. Because they also do like a really weird music stinger when they say the name Christian.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I noticed that.
It is like a weirdly like it is not like a feel good story music stinger when he says Christian. Also, Sawyer says, "See, kids are like dogs. Knock them around enough and they'll think they did something to deserve it," which like,
sorry, give me that gun back.
is a good line if you're trying to show that this guy's never shared a real emotion with another human being. But otherwise, it's very strange.
Yeah. Jake, you obviously don't know nearly as much about Sawyer as we do, but he's obviously talking about himself when he makes that dog anecdote. But then he also, I think in that moment, Jack realizes maybe for the first time that him and Sawyer have more in common than Jack would like to admit or had realized or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said at the beginning, JP, he thought he was just going to come over here and say good luck, Sawyer, give him a gun to make sure that he was safe on his way, and that was going to be that. And it turns out that Sawyer might actually be a real human, despite the fact that he's quite often a huge shitheel.
Now we cut to another buck wild fucking airport scene.
I was going to say, speaking of shitheels...
I can't. The 0-60 in this episode happens so quickly, but like, so this character who I learn's name is Kate.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like she deserves what is already happening to her, because this guy is a real asshole. I don't know what she does.
The second part of that is 100% true. That dude is a huge asshole.
He's so mean to her.
Yeah. What's our agent's name? Agent
the guy, the marshal?
Yeah, or Marshal
Edward Mars.
Edward Mars.
U.S. Marshal Edward Mars.
Yeah,
that's a good U.S. Marshal name.
Right.
He's got a briefcase fucking full of guns.
5 guns.
5 guns.
5 fucking guns, because he's transporting one fugitive. My brain is really locking up right now. What? You don't need 5 guns to transport what? You only got 2 hands. You need more magazines. It makes no fucking sense.
JP, it's like you didn't even watch the scene.
He explains pretty clearly why he needs 5 guns.
No, he doesn't.
No. Okay,
he explains that if he's really mean to her for no reason, she'll get mad, and he needs 5 guns for that.
The 5 guns didn't stop her from attacking him.
Standard U.S. Marshal prisoner detention policy dictates that he will taunt her to the point where she needs to destroy him.
On the pressurized plane, he's going to pull out 5 guns with his 2 hands and start blasting?
Well, and that's not even that won't even happen, because the reason they're in this room is because the Australian dude here is like, you have to check the 5 guns. You can get to carry your ankle piece, but the 5 guns in the case have to be checked. So he can't even, he could, like, if Kate tried to hijack the plane, he can't get to the 5 pieces in the hold anyway.
Keep her busy. I'm gonna go under.
Are they all like California compliant pistols, and they only have 1 round in the magazine? Like, I don't understand what you need 5 pistols for.
Maybe he's a
It's
horrible
just,
shot.
do you think it's like muskets where you only get the one? And he's just pulling out like it's
he
the
just
Matrix.
unloads and he doesn't have time to reload. Just
Oh my god, this made me so fucking angry.
The thing that made me angry about the scene is that he's straight up monologuing like a fucking cartoon villain.
Like a supervillain. Yeah.
This Australian airport worker who's just like, what do you need 5 guns for? And he literally talks for like 2 minutes.
Look, if I am working retail and a person comes inside and I say, how are you? And they monologue about their day, I will quit.
And then we cut back to the beach.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're back.
All these flashbacks, they sort of like they flow into the next person to be featured in the episode. So like the Sawyer deporting scene led to the Sawyer and the bamboo forest thing.
Right.
The Kate and Mars scene goes into Kate going to Jack and asking to come along on the Black Rock.
Everyone on the island wants to go on this dangerous Dy-No-Mite trip. And so I kind of feel like the theme of this episode is people not being able to handle the fact that they feel like they're not helping.
Well, maybe they heard wrong. Maybe they're like, oh, do you want to come on this trip? It's gonna be Dy-No-Mite.
Maybe they thought they were looking for Vegemite.
Oh,
and
that's too.
Like,
yeah,
at the Black Rock.
Or maybe somebody heard Crack Rock, but Charlie didn't come, so nobody heard Crack Rock.
That's a great joke for you longtime listeners.
Kate wants to come. Jack says yes. They talk about deadline management. You mentioned earlier, Jack. Every time, like, it takes them forever to leave. Yeah, it's like, we're leaving in an hour. We're leaving in a half an hour. We're leaving. Like,
just leave now. Go.
And every part of this episode is like, we have to leave right. We have to start doing this thing right now. And it's like,
but we're leaving in a half hour. Even when he goes back at the beginning, when he's trying to get the raft going, he's like, give me 20 minutes.
Right.
It doesn't take you there are 10 dudes sitting over there. Just go, hey, come over here and help with the raft, you bunch of fucking layabouts.
In basic training, our drill sergeants always told us that we had 10 minutes to do any task because you can do anything in 10 minutes.
That's fair.
Literally.
Speaking of Charlie, though, Charlie is collecting messages for the bottle. Mm-hmm. He's putting some, everybody's like, hey, you want to say hi to mom, whatever. Just doing a little bit of morale boost kind of thing, But this is, in addition to this bottle scene, this is like the goodbye scene for
a bunch of
the A-team
goodbyes.
Because they're not going to see the rafties again. They're going to be gone by the time they get back.
Yeah, so the A-team leaves, and there's a moment of sinister music.
Yeah.
That refutes my theory that this episode might be the last episode of Lost. So I'd come around on whether or not I was watching, in fact, the series finale of Lost. But
again, we talked about before, Hawaii's fucking beautiful, man. Mm-hmm. They get some great location shots. A lot more like, there were more wide shots in this episode than a lot of episodes that we've watched where it's just a lot of fucking close-ups one after another. Yeah, we had optically some room to breathe in this one, which is nice.
They leave Jack, Kate, John Locke, Hurley, Arst, and Danielle. They just walk for a while. My next note is that they reach the dark territory.
Well, Rousseau's got some scratches on her arm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Locke kind of flirts with her about it, which took me off guard.
It was weird.
Locke's in love with the island, not women. So it's like,
but if he was going to be in love with a woman, it'd probably be Rousseau.
That's fair, because she is the island.
Yeah.
But yeah, what happened? Oh, it was a bush. Strange bush or whatever. Weird. We got to keep moving. Yeah, let's get our asses in gear.
Yeah, they get to the dark territory. She says it in French. Jack understands, of course. He speaks French, too, on top of everything else.
Despite the fact that they're going to, like Hurley said, the Dy-No-Mite at the Black Rock in the dark territory, only just now Arst gets scared and bad.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
He dips real fucking hard.
And his fucking advice. I thought you were coming along to help with the Dy-No-Mite. Be careful.
Be very careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot tip. Thanks.
She's like, this is where my team got the sickness. This is where a guy I knew lost his arm. And the science teacher, who has not been afraid of being stranded on an island up until this point, I assume, says, I don't want to lose an arm. I'm leaving. I'd rather die all the way. I guess.
Would they enter the dark territory?
Yeah.
It starts to rain. It's one of these.
Yeah.
That's a pretty regular happening on the island. They have rainstorms, monsoons, whatever. And they hear a noise.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man, this scene was real spooky because the dude who just bailed ours, they see him running back toward them.
Yeah, and screaming this really weird rhythmic scream.
Yeah.
And then we get the noises, the scary in the jungle monster noises.
Like sounds like big steps and like a big roar, screeching, screaming thing.
Like I think they were trying to use a group of sounds that were supposed to be like an inscrutable monster sound, but it does just kind of sound like an AT-AT walking around.
or I got very like Jurassic Park sort of T-Rex sort of vibes from it, you know.
They all hide. Danielle says that they can hide inside this tree. Locke and Hurley stand fast. The noise goes away. Danielle describes the noise. Like they're like, "What is that? What is that?" And she's like, "It is the island security system."
Right.
And that's the first time.
Rousseau, what the fuck is it?
Right. Yeah, it's like the first time anybody's had an explanation for what it is, and it's not really that good of an explanation.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, she says its purpose is that of any security system to protect something. To which I believe Kate responds to protect what? And Danielle says the island.
Yeah.
Which like
it is the purpose of any security system to get a rent-a-cop in an ADT car to come to your house 15 minutes from now.
After you've been murdered. Speaking of segue, in the next scene, Walt gives Shannon Vincent move on.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay. No, I popped off because I can't believe a dog was also here. I have never turned on a character in a show I've never seen so fast as between this scene and then the ensuing flashback.
Yeah.
Right. This is the inverse of what happens with the other flashbacks. We have the Walt and Shannon scene where, Walt like tries to help console her. She's obviously distraught, whatever. And she's really, it's a nice scene. It's, sweet and whatever. She encourages him, I'm just going to keep the dog until we see each other again. Like she's like a lot of really good, cool, good stuff.
Yeah. It's a really sweet scene.
Yeah.
And it is like the opposite Walt of the Walt that you see in the very beginning of Flashback.
Totally.
Where he's so thoughtful and he's being so kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's showing an emotional maturity that almost all of the adults don't give him credit for.
Yeah.
Because he's a child.
Right.
And I imagine some of the adults don't even have because then we flash back.
Yeah. Shannon, first of all, is sitting like the worst person in an airport, taking three seats.
That's not
their feet up on the seat. Fuck you.
Yeah. Saeed pops in. It's just like, hey, watch my bag for me.
No, this is post 9/11. I'm sorry. You don't do that. Like,
Saeed, regardless of how appropriate or inappropriate people's thoughts were towards brown men leaving bags in airports, you Saeed should have known not to do this.
Yeah. The problem that I have, okay, so there's like two writing notes I have for this episode, and this is one of the scenes. So Shannon and Boone start arguing, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I tried smoothing things over with the ticketing agent, didn't go well because you blew up, yada 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 yada. So then basically Shannon's trying to prove that Boone doesn't know what she's capable of.
Right.
Great. Then she finds the TSA agent, is like, there was this Arab guy, told me to watch his bag.
Yeah.
That's not a lie, though.
No.
Like, if a stranger asked me to watch their bag, I would first of all, I'd say no. But then also,
right, yeah.
If they left the bag with me, I would tell someone in the TSA. I'm like, what? So what are you trying to prove? If the writers wanted her to seem like, oh, you don't know what she's capable of, she should have just lied.
Right.
Like maybe Saeed was like, oh, do you mind if I sit there? And she's like, I'm resting here. And then she lied about, no, this Arab guy, she's a real piece of shit. I don't know.
And it's so shitty because it doesn't even like this relationship is toxic. It's painted toxic. Yes. I don't know these two characters. I'm immediately shown that this is not a one-sided thing.
Sure.
Both of these people hate being together and hate each other.
Yeah.
And her proving this point by being like, I can get a guy thrown out of an airport for no reason also doesn't really I just don't, it doesn't really prove, I think, her point, which is that like I can look at all this power I have.
Exactly.
I relied on this guy's I relied on racism to maybe get a guy thrown out of an airport. Like, it's such a weird quote unquote power move in the first place.
It's not a great,
I don't know.
I feel like the scene was just thrown together and no one workshopped it.
The point is, it's bad, and I wrote, "Oh no, she's bad. She's evil. Give Vincent back to the kid. You don't deserve her." So,
cut back to the beach. Saeed is putting a radar on the raft. Cool. We have a radar. Didn't know that, but cool.
And a flare gun.
He's
got some stuff from the Beechcraft, which is a small plane that has crashed on the island.
Yeah.
He's salvaged some stuff from there to help the raft do a better job of getting found.
Back to the jungle, our A-team arrives at the Black Rock.
It's a sailing ship?
It's a damn pirate ship.
It's a damn pirate ship.
What?
Jake, did you have any preconceived notions of what the Black Rock was before we got to it?
I did not think it was going to be a boat.
Okay.
I thought it was going to just be, I mean, like, because like the dark the dark territory is just like a different part of the woods.
Sure.
So I was like, well, the Black Rock is probably just like
a big black rock.
Collection
Black
of
rock,
rocks. Yeah, like.
Cut to a flashback of Sun and Jin. They're in the airport. It's before the flight, like everybody else. Sun is bringing some food and some coffee to Jin. She puts a napkin on his lap. A random couple who they're both actors that I've seen before, and I didn't look up from what.
It made me, I almost looked up to see if they become characters, because I was like, I recognize both of these people.
Yeah,
these are both like people who are in shows.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize either one.
The guy I've seen before for sure.
I called him Todd and Margot in my notes.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
It's some real old ball and chain.
Yeah.
I hate being married to you shit.
Right.
And again, like, it's just so. Something that this episode does is it just casually depicts white people being racist, which I am surprised, because they did the show in like 2005.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I just didn't like. I'm surprised at how casually people like they depict racism.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how like accurately they do it.
Yeah.
I was like really like didn't expect that from the show Lost, the one episode I saw.
They don't do it often.
Yeah.
I just saw the one.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
But,
far,
like-
at least.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like, initially it really felt like this older couple is being mean to these two people for absolutely no reason, but like people do that all the time.
Right. Yeah.
That's just how people act.
Right.
Like,
yeah, they're commenting on sort of like, oh, what is this, like
Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yeah, and how
yeah, literally.
their divorce rate is lower though.
Yeah.
It's just
he's like sort of misogynistic about it, because he's like, oh yeah, she was waiting on a man and foot, and they're not. Koreans get divorced less. He probably didn't realize they're Korean. That dude probably just thought they were Chinese or Japanese or something.
Right.
The scene does a wonderful job of making me realize that like one of them speaks English and one of them doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which again is important in the next scene.
Yeah. Right.
Which was a really. This again, like I thought for sure this is the end of Lost. Like I'm watching the last episode of the show Lost.
But Sun and Jin back on the beach have a really fucking good scene.
Yeah.
A really heartfelt sort of mending of their relationship. They both apologize. They both say how much they mean to each other. Jin says that he has to go because like they're being punished because of how shitty he's been to her.
No, he's being punished. That's why they're there. They're there because he's being punished because of how shitty
this guy says Lost. He does it in the 23rd episode of this first season.
He said the thing.
He says Lost. He says I'm in this place because I'm being punished. He says the thing.
Yeah. But yeah, God, just two actors acting the fuck out of this scene. So good.
Yeah.
The rafties make their goodbyes, and they get ready to shove off, and it goes pretty well this time.
Yeah.
As opposed to earlier, they get it in the water.
Yeah. There's God. Vincent starts running after Walt.
Yeah.
That's tugging on my heartstrings. Like as a pet owner.
There's a crew member in the water briefly next to the raft in the shot, which is a little bit of an oopsie, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
you can see a person in there. And it's like, that's a crew. That's a diver.
That's definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down that I legitimately cannot believe the raft worked.
I know, because it does not look like it's gonna. There's a hole in the sail. You got clothes, bend that shit.
They just have like 2 more parts of the episode that I thought for sure, like, there's no way this raft launches here.
Yeah,
but it does.
Yeah.
And this series of scenes was so good that it made me forget entirely about the actual plot of the episode.
Yeah.
Which is that the black smoke is here.
So,
and the others are coming.
Yep. They remind us. They have this, because it fades to black.
Yeah.
And then it brings the shot back up.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, fade to black. Oh, the smoke.
I'm almost positive it's the same shot of black smoke we saw earlier.
100% the same shot.
And I'm like, imagine how much more effective it would have been if they're watching, like if you had the budget for like a helicopter for this episode and you see the boat, or the raft going away and you 180 around the other way and you see the survivors on the beach and then you can see the black smoke in the background. It's so much better, but they're like, we ain't got the money for that. Yep. So they just like fade to black. Here's the don't fucking forget about this smoke.
Lost. And that's it. That's Exodus Part 1.
We covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Did we like it? Was it good? Jake, how did you feel about Exodus Part 1?
As my first episode to the series Lost, I would say that I did really like this episode.
Yeah.
This seems like a great encapsulation of the story Lost is trying to tell. Yeah. Like, here's a group of people. Here is the backstory slowly revealing the connections between these people and who these people were before the island, right?
Yeah.
And this episode is just that. Like, here are the guys you need to care about. They're going to solve a mystery. Yeah, I did like it. And I liked watching it. And I had to stop myself from watching the second part right away because I had other stuff I needed to do.
Yeah, totally. Adam?
Yeah, I did. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I forgot, I guess, how much I liked this episode because this is the first time I've seen it in years and years. But like, I went into it not expecting much because it was part 1 of a 3-hour finale. But it was so much better than I was expecting. And it did this thing that JP, you and I talked about off mic that we wanted to start bringing up and start mentioning is that this episode did for me. It reminded me that at its heart, Lost is supposed to be a character story. And Jake, you picked up on that because you said like this does a good job of encapsulating why we care about these people on the island and why they care about each other and all that. And it's so easy to get caught up in the mystery and the bullshit with the hatch and the pirate ship and the fucking whatever.
Briefcase full of 5 guns.
Yeah, but there were so many great character moments in this thing that made me love the episode.
Yeah.
And reminded me that when Lost does remember that it's a character show, that's when it's really good.
Yeah.
And so I think it was good and I liked it.
Yeah.
JP, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't add much to it besides that. I'm on the verge of tears multiple times. There was tension. There was times where I chuckled. There was times where there was mystery. Like it is a great episode. Really, really good. Even with the 2 absolutely bonkers flashback scenes that make 3 technically that make no fucking sense. Yeah. My brain just glosses over those and everything that happened on the island. I was just like, yes. This show fucking rips. All right, Lost MVPs. Who is your favorite person from Exodus Part 1? Who wins the gold star for the day? Jake, being our guest, you can go first. Who is your MVP for Exodus Part 1?
I want to say, before I reveal my MVP, my honorable mention.
Yes.
Is the bottle with all the messages in it.
Because, good.
Because I thought about it and I actually think it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I think it's a very funny concept. Yeah. But I chose the couple, the Korean couple, because it's just such a good, like, slice of that episode is just the entire section about them.
Yeah.
Even in the flashback where like a lot of these characters are painted as like less kind or like less mature or
Sure.
less, they're painted as different, mostly worse people. Like she spills a coffee on him by accident, but they don't seem like they're any less, in love with each other.
Sure.
So yeah, that is my lost MVP. I'm sorry, I don't know the two characters' names.
Sun and Jin.
Sun and Jin.
Yeah.
Are my lost MVP together.
They're a great pick.
JP, what do you think? MVP?
Man, I don't know if I'm gonna have a lot of opportunities to say this. Sawyer, James Sawyer Ford.
There we go.
Man, I rewatched the scene where he told Jack the story twice. For Sawyer to actually not be a piece of shit in the first half of this show and really, I don't know, really think about somebody else's, not just physical, but mental well-being. I was like, damn, that's some good shit. I like that. Adam, MVP.
I'm going to crib from both of you.
Yeah.
I'm giving this to 4 people though. Sun and Jin, Sawyer, and Walt.
Yeah.
Because the scene with Sun and Jin was amazing at the end where they reconciled. This
so good.
Sawyer's monologue to Jack about Christian was like him actually having a heart and having and caring about somebody besides himself for a second. And then in that scene, Shannon didn't help much, but Walt doing the same thing. Being a child, being the youngest survivor, but still knowing how much pain Shannon was in, and realizing that he might be able to do something good there too. Like he's a human, and she, despite her pain, her bullshit, he tries to make her feel better. And all 3 of those scenes, like, they did so much character stuff for me.
Yeah,
it's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, good. Lots of good people doing lots of good things. Yeah. But on the flip side of that coin, there's also some shitheads in this episode. So we're going to move over to Lost Forever. Who's the worst? Who sucks shit? Who needs to get out the fuck off this island? Jake, who is your Lost Forever?
It was hard to pick one person. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and wrote down airports.
Oh.
Because 1, plane crash on the island, huge red flag.
Yeah.
2, every person in an airport in the universe of Lost sucks. So like, you got to start wondering if like maybe it's the environment and not the person.
Sure.
I don't know. I went ahead and covered all my bases, and my Lost Forever's got to be airports, man. We got to get rid of those.
Yep, that's fair.
They're not great.
JP, who is your Lost Forever?
Warren Truss, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry. Listen,
wow.
I actually believe
controversial
Sawyer
pick
that he headbutted him first, because Sawyer's not really a headbutt kind of guy. So that means that this politician's just corrupt. He's got the cops in his pocket. He just wants to get drunk in public and then get other people arrested. You know what? Fuck that guy. Honorable mention, Power Rangers SPD, because fuck the police. Adam.
Edward Mars, man. Yeah! Fuck that guy so hard. Like, that's not how, like, man, okay, like ACAB and all that, but like this guy is like the worst of the worst. Nobody you got to be a real hard on to treat a prisoner like that. Like you fucking suck so much. Like this guy, I can't believe he's still got a job.
Yeah.
Edward Mars, man. I fucking, as soon as I saw his face, I was like, I can't wait to fucking hate you. And honorable mention the LAPD because Ana Lucia was here. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, we got through it. We did it.
Feels good.
It feels really good. Jake, thank you for being on our silly show.
Yeah, you fellas were gentle with me. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Is there anything you want to plug?
I haven't been streaming on Twitch lately, but if you like watching people beat Sonic Adventure 2 specifically really fast, or if you like the sound of my voice and you'd like to hear it while I drink coffee and play video games in the morning, you can find me on Twitch at DTJ Composer, all one word. Or you can find me on Twitter at TH3 Composer. The number 3, not the spelled out.
JP, what are we doing next time?
Yeah, so if you're trying to be lost with us, next time we will be watching Season 2, Episode 21. Question mark? Is it the...
That's the title of the episode is the punctuation mark question mark.
Oh,
It's not the Home Improvement.
I thought this was like a fun bit you guys did.
No,
where you
it's
didn't
just
reveal
question-
the title
it's-
of the next episode.
Actually, question
I was
mark.
texting our next guest today, and I was trying to explain to him that was the title of the episode.
Who's on first?
He was so lost. I was like, "What are we watching?" And I typed a question mark, and he's like, "Okay, cool. What's the name of the episode?" I was like, "That's the," and then I wrote the word out
this is
question mark.
Just a who's on first. Okay. Oh my gosh.
It's an Echo episode. Fuck yeah.
Oh, it is?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, I forgot to write that part down. Damn. Echo episode. All right, baby. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of A Lost on Lost.
Yeah, I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
You have any idea what's going on this show?
Nope.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.